I've seen already that you've said today that this is no longer a repeal of Obamacare, it's just a massive cut in Medicaid. What else do you see that's wrong with this bill?
Well, I mean, it really is, Paul Krugman said this a while ago, and it applies even more to the Senate bill than the House bill. It's just Obamacare version 0.5. It literally just makes Obamacare worse along every dimension. You didn't like the subsidies to poor people? It just cuts them in half. You didn't like the fact that we couldn't discriminate against the sick? Well, it allows some discrimination against the sick, but not too much. It's really just a shrinking of Obamacare to save money to pay for massive tax cuts for the wealthy. And I just don't understand why anyone would like this law except the 1% of wealthiest Americans to get a big tax cut. It's really an amazingly bad piece of legislation.
But it doesn't have to be about tax cuts for the wealthy. I mean, the Obamacare program, by and large, is unsustainable. It provides entitlements that are financially unsustainable. So you said it fails on every level. It doesn't. Does it fail or not fail on one element here, which is the financials? Costs do need to be cut.
It fails on that element. This law would barely reduce the deficit in the first decade, and my guess is, although CB will have to tell us, it won't much reduce it beyond that. So if you're worried about the unsustainability of healthcare spending, first of all, it's healthcare writ large. Obamacare is nothing compared to Medicare. So what about unsustainability of healthcare spending? Let's address that. But it doesn't address that. It literally scales it back and throws all the money right back out of the U.S. government to the wealthiest taxpayers. So how does this help fiscal responsibility at all?
You were quoted as saying that Obamacare was 90% health insurance coverage and 10% cost control. And all you ever hear about people talking about cost control. So what is this government supposed to do when, as you openly admitted, Obamacare threw cost control out of the window? It was never going to be sustainable.
Once again, don't say threw cost control out the window. That makes it sound like it was possible. Obamacare turned it down. Cost control is politically perilous. What Obamacare did for the first time in our nation's history was say, hey, let's at least get coverage done first, and let's start down the road towards cost control. Look, since Obamacare passed, U.S. healthcare costs have grown at the slowest rate in measured history. Now, does Obamacare get the responsibility for that? No, not all of it, but a small part, yes. Readmissions penalties introduced by Obamacare. We've seen more fraud reduction in healthcare than ever before in our nation's history. So Obamacare has started us down the road, but we got a long way to go. Nothing in this bill, in this Republican alternative, gets us anywhere.